Welcome back to our lesson on finding the missing side of a right triangle using trig. The first thing you need to do is identify your reference angle, because that's going to help you determine your opposite and your adjacent. So when I look, the angle they gave me was this 25. So that is this angle right here. Now remember, straight across from the right angle is your hypotenuse. The side of your angle is your adjacent. And then straight across from it is your opposite. Okay? Now, when I look, I have a number for my adjacent, and I have a variable for my opposite, but I have nothing for my hypotenuse. So when I look at the trig functions, I go ahead and write out the SOHCAHTOA. I have no hypotenuse, so I need to cross out anything that uses the hypotenuse. So it looks like for this problem, I need to use the tangent. The tangent of my angle equals the opposite side over the adjacent side. Always write your formula down first. It's the fastest way to help you memorize it. Now substitute in what we know. We have our tangent. Our angle was 25 degrees, so we know that. The opposite side is my x, and the adjacent side was 18. Now I have an equation I need to solve. Remember, the tangent of 25 is 1 unit. It stays together. You cannot separate it. To get the x by itself, I'm going to multiply by 18. So I have 18 times the tangent of 25 equals my x. Now we just grab our calculator and type that in. So 18 times the tangent of 25, and then in that parenthesis, because it started it, we have to end it. Enter. Now we check. Normally they have us round to the nearest tenth. So we're going to round to the nearest tenth. So that's 1 decimal. So I have 8 point, let's see, 1 decimal is the 3. The next number is a 9. So that tells me to round it up. So I have 9.4 equals my x. So my missing side is 8.4 units. Okay, so let's look at our next example. Remember, you need to identify your reference angle. So in our case, it is the 70. So that would make this our reference angle. The hypotenuse is always straight across from your right angle, so that is the hypotenuse. The adjacent is the side of your reference angle, and then straight across from it is your opposite. So when we look at what we have a variable for the hypotenuse, we have a number for the adjacent, but we have no information for the opposite. So cross out any trig function that needs the opposite side. So we're going to use the cosine for this problem. So write down your formula. The cosine of my angle equals the adjacent side over the hypotenuse. And let's substitute in what we know. Our angle was 70 degrees, so I want the cosine of 70 degrees. My opposite side, or my adjacent side was 15, and my hypotenuse was x. Now this time, my variable is in the denominator, so it does not help me to multiply by the 15. I need to multiply by the x. Okay, so we're going to multiply both sides by my x. So I end up with x times the cosine of 70 equals 15. So this one takes an extra step because now I need to get rid of that cosine. I am not dividing by 70. I am dividing by this entire thing, the cosine of 70. It's a unit. It's stuck together. And I want to do that to both sides. So that means that my x equals 15 divided by the cosine of 70. So let's get an estimate for this. So I'm going to grab my calculator, and I want to take, let me move this up just a little bit. I'm going to take 15, and I'm going to divide that by the cosine of 70. Still can't reach. Parenthesis, and then equals. Okay, so x equals 43.9. Remember, we round to the nearest tenth. Let's look at our next example. There we go. So we start off by finding our reference angle. So that's our 36. Now, straight across from the right angle is your hypotenuse. The side of your angle is your adjacent. And straight across from your angle is your opposite. So when I evaluate what I have a number here for my hypotenuse. I have a variable for the opposite, but there's no information for the adjacent. So I need to throw out any function that uses adjacent. So this problem is done using the sine. So my formula for sine is the sine of the angle equals the opposite side over the hypotenuse. So in our case, we have the sine of 36 equals the opposite x over the hypotenuse 24. Now I need to solve that, so I want to get the x by itself. So I'm going to multiply by 24 to eliminate my fraction. So that is going to give me that x equals 24 times the sine of 36. Then we put it in our calculator to get an approximate. So 24 times the sine of 36, then end our parentheses, and that is approximately 14.1. Okay. So let's look at the next one. Once again, we highlight our reference angle. So that means the opposite side right here is your hypotenuse. The side of the angle is your adjacent. And straight across from your angle is the opposite. So when I analyze, I have something here for adjacent. I have something on opposite, and the hypotenuse has nothing. So I'm going to cross out any function that has a hypotenuse, and we're going to use the tangent. So the tangent of my angle equals the opposite over the adjacent. So let's substitute in what we know. We know that our angle was 59 degrees. Our opposite side was x, and our adjacent was 18.5. Now I have a fraction to solve. To get rid of the fraction, I multiply by my denominator. So multiply both sides by 18.5. So 18.5 times the tangent of 59 equals our side. So 18.5 times the tangent of 59 into that parenthesis, and we get 30.8 approximately. So if you have any questions, just let me know.